Welcome to Impact Makers Radio, featuring industry thought leaders sharing problem-solving insights to help grow your business and live the life you love. And here's your host, Stuart Andrew Alexander.
Hi, and welcome to another Let's Talk Divorce conversation. And during this segment of the show, I am so pleased, ladies and gentlemen, to announce that we finally have family law attorney Jennifer Guimond-Quigley, principal of the law office of Jennifer Guimond-Quigley, calling in all the way from Chicago, Illinois. Now, Jennifer, who is considered to be an authority in the area of family law, will be talking to you today about a very interesting topic. Now, have you ever thought about this? If you are out there and you're considering your options for divorce, have you ever thought about how to handle social media and email if you are going through a divorce? Well, if you haven't, strap yourself in, because today that's our topic. So if you are one of the increasing amounts of people facing divorce in the Chicago, Illinois area, you just might want to give yourself a break. Log out of Facebook, log out of Twitter, Instagram, or anything else you happen to be doing which may cause a distraction. You might even want to grab a notepad and pen and take some notes as we listen in to what Jennifer has to share with us today. So, with that said, let's not keep her waiting any longer. Welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for having me, Stuart. I'm happy to be here.
You are so welcome, my dear. So let's just jump in with our first question of the day. If you could then, Jennifer, just briefly describe the kinds of people who you serve and the various types of situations they find themselves in when they come to you for your help.
Absolutely. So in my family law practice, I help many clients who are going through the process of divorcing their spouse. And when they retain me, we work together through the common issues that come with divorce. Those are typically maintenance, child support, and property division. I also work extensively with matters affecting their kids, such as decision-making and parenting time. One of the first searches that I do in a divorce case is to look at an opposing party's online presence. What accounts do they have, and what are they posting about? It can really be a huge source of information about potential evidence for the case.
Right, so now that we know who you help then, Jennifer, before we go any further, let's just take a moment to make it absolutely clear that anything you share with us today is not legal advice or legal assistance. It's purely for the purpose of sharing information. So can we both agree on that then, Jennifer?
Yes, that's an absolutely good point. And anyone should talk to their own legal advisor if they have specific questions about their own circumstance. These are all general points of information.
Absolutely. Okay, so with that said then, what's the most common misconception that you come across while you're out there working with the people who you love to help the most? Yeah,
so one of the common misconceptions I do see from litigants is that they have an idea that their email and their text messages are completely off limits, and those accounts are private because they are personal accounts to them. However, those communications can actually be subject to discovery if a party believes that there may be relevant evidence contained in those communications.
So with that said then, Jennifer, and based on that great tip that you just shared with us, can you just please share an example or a case study, so to speak, of how you've actually helped someone, or how you would even go about helping somebody who comes to you with that misconception, with that challenge that you've just described, and what kind of transformational results you were able to gain for them or would be able to gain for them? Now, obviously, do keep your clients' confidentiality in mind as you share these insights with us. Thank you.
Sure. Well, I think, information for my clients at the outset of their case is key. And so when I know that a lot of these clients have this misconception, one of the first things I talk about with my clients when we start a divorce case is to let them know that anything that they put in writing, whether it be an email or a text message or any type of other written communication could be subject to discovery, and they could have to turn those communications over to an opponent. And so generally what I do is I just tell everyone at the beginning, look, if you don't want a judge to read this communication, don't put it in writing.
Right. Because I can imagine people are at loggerheads with each other. For whatever reason, they're facing a divorce and the emotions are overrunning. And they jump onto social media and start writing all kinds of crazy stuff, right? I mean, is that what generally happens?
Yeah, I think we've all probably seen examples in our own personal life. Maybe on our Facebook account, we've seen someone that we're friends with may have, gone, off on a tangent about their spouse and things that are happening in their divorce, or, things they're spending money on that maybe wouldn't, be advisable to be putting out there on social media, or going out with a paramour. Those kinds of things shouldn't be on social media whatsoever. So I think people just don't realize that that's all discoverable potentially. So to not have it out there is the best way to combat that.
Great. Thanks for that, Jennifer. So just as a reminder, my guest today is family law attorney Jennifer Guimond-Quigley. She is the principal of the law offices of Jennifer Guimond-Quigley all the way from Chicago, Illinois. And today's topic is, as you've heard already, how to handle social media and email if you are going through a divorce. Now, with that in mind, and for those people in divorce who are listening in right now, they're wanting to know more about this topic, Jennifer, what's the most common but unknown pitfall that they need to be aware of, regardless of what situation they find themselves in?
Yeah, I think one of the main takeaways from today is that privacy takes on a whole new meaning in divorce. So if we're talking about social media accounts, even keeping your account on a private setting can still be problematic. Many times people will accept friend requests from people they don't know, and in a divorce, that person could actually be a private investigator or friend of the other spouse looking to get information. The spouse could also convince a mutual friend on Facebook to allow them to view their spouse's profile while the friend is logged in. And additionally, even with non-public settings and careful attention to who is viewing the profile, you still may end up with a photo or a post under another person's profile. That may be detrimental to your case as well. So just being aware of all of these avenues of visibility is really important to note. And then additionally, privacy with relation to email can be easily compromised, especially when divorcing parties are actually still living under the same roof and sharing electronic devices such as computers and tablets. I've had cases where a party has been able to easily access the other's email and see privileged communications between the other party and their attorney and other emails that were compromising. So it's really important that in the event any devices are being shared, that logins are not shared or auto-populated. And I actually advise that parties log themselves completely out of any and all digital accounts on shared devices and cease using them entirely, if at all possible.
So, Jennifer, obviously when your clients come to you, they're at that point where they're considering divorce, or actually looking at their options for divorce. However, what about those couples who, they're happily married and happily sharing their social media accounts and their logins and passwords, etc.? Should they be in somewhat, careful about that, even though, they're happily married? Is there an element of, prevention better than cure thing here?
Well, I think it's just such a case-by-case basis. It's hard to make a blanket rule in terms of social media accounts and having shared accounts versus having your own private individual accounts. And it's really so fact-specific. But, generally, I think if there are shared accounts between spouses, the first thing that should happen is to cease using those shared accounts immediately when the person knows that a divorce could be possible in the future.
Right. Thanks for clarifying that for us, Jennifer. So I'm really curious at this point. How many years have you been practicing law then, Jennifer?
Yeah, so I've been practicing law for nearly 9 years.
Okay. So in all of those years of practicing law, What's most important to you about being able to help your clients to achieve their objectives when they come to you for their help?
Yeah, so when I am looking to help my clients, the most important thing is to get as much information from them about what's going on, and especially regarding this topic, I need to know all of their social media accounts. You know, they may want to show me what they have on their Facebook profile and other social media profiles, and get all the information at the outset, and then have the conversation with them about what is and what is not appropriate in their social media postings going forward. And then also to get information about their spouse and whether or not they know if their spouse has any accounts online as well that we should be looking at for any potential evidence. And, you know, in terms of all of this social media, the pitfalls and the downsides and what to do and what not to do, I really think it's important to keep up to date on that information, and I do so by attending continuing learning education seminars and webinars on the topic. And I find that this area is especially important for an attorney to have routine refreshers because technology changes so rapidly.
So, Jennifer, you've already touched on how long you've been practicing law. Could you spend a brief moment telling us a little bit more about yourself, and especially in terms of your background, your formal education, and your experience as it relates to the topic of family law?
Yeah, so I attended law school here in Chicago, and I graduated in 2008. I spent a short time at a boutique family law firm after graduating from law school and obtaining my license. And then shortly after that, I went on my own, and I've been on my own as a solo practitioner for the past approximately 8 years. So I have pretty much focused a very large portion of my practice on family law, and I continue to take as many courses and continuing education courses as I can to stay up to date on all of the family law topics that are important to my clients, and this is absolutely one of those.
Right, so imagine, if you will, then, Jennifer, it's any given day of the week. It's very early, it's 6, 7 a.m. and your alarm clock goes off and you wake up all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, because I know that's the way how you wake up, right, Jennifer?
Absolutely, you got it.
Right, so on a day like that, and having a full day's work ahead of you, helping your clients who find themselves in that unfortunate position of facing a divorce or even considering a divorce, how does Jennifer feel on a day like that?
Yeah, actually, I wake up energized. This is an area of law that I love. It's a career that I love. I get to really focus on helping individual people with the most important things in their life. I mean, we're dealing with their children and we're dealing with their financial security. And so, I find this extremely rewarding. And quite frankly, I actually do wake up pretty invigorated most mornings and ready to kind of tackle the day and see what's on the docket. I mean, and every day is so different. So it's just always a challenge, and I do really enjoy it.
Excellent. So as you think about those people who come to you for your help, and they're wanting to know more about how to handle social media and email while they're going through a divorce. Now, with that picture in mind, Jennifer, what would be your final thoughts that you'd like to share with them before we move on to our last question for today?
Sure, absolutely. So I think, one really great tip that, can be across the board for any of the things we talked about today is less is best. So when it comes to social media, both prior to and during a divorce, the least amount of posting and activity online is the better. Ideally, any social media account should be kept inactive if at all possible. If you aren't posting anything, the chance of it being used against you is pretty nil. Also, don't simply delete social media accounts, because that can have ramifications as well. The other side could make a claim that you may have intentionally spoiled evidence relevant to the matter. So don't do that. But if you have an account and you are going to be active, just keep it neutral and don't air any dirty laundry about the divorce or your partner. And of course, always ask your attorney if you have any questions about what is or what is not appropriate to be posting on social media. And then lastly, email, make sure it's secure and that all electronic devices have a lock feature that only you can gain access to.
Jennifer, so far we've been talking about divorcing couples, adults. What about their children and their social media accounts? Is there something that you could share with us on that particular point?
Sure. In my cases, I'm actually seeing a big uptick in clients wanting to put social media provisions in their parenting agreements. Things that govern when the child can have their own social media account, what accounts they will be able to have, whether it'll be monitored or not. And so that's something that I've seen more and more clients wanting to put into the agreements, and rightfully so. Parties many times want to outline when children will be able to have access to online accounts, and that should be in the agreement. So that one parent isn't letting the child do it, and the other parent doesn't want it to happen. It should only happen pursuant to both of their agreements.
So, Jennifer, you shared a ton of great insights in the short amount of time we do have today. So thank you for that. So if there is somebody out there who is listening and they do want to know more about handling social media and email while they're going through a divorce, what's the easiest way for them to find you?
The best way to find me would be online through my website, which can be found at www.gqlawoffice.com.
Great. Jennifer, I have a feeling that we've only begun to scratch the surface of the insights that you could share with our listeners today. However, unfortunately, we are out of time. So again, as a reminder, we have been listening to family law attorney Jennifer Guimond-Quigley. Thank you so much for sharing so generously with us today, Jennifer. You have certainly, without a doubt, 100% hands down demonstrated that you are a true educator, advocate, and trustworthy advisor for your clients' success. So thank you.
Thank you.
You are so welcome, my dear. And I'd also like to take a moment to say a big thank you to you. Yes, the listener. You've received some great tips today. Be careful what you're doing out there on social media. You don't want it to come back and haunt you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a very insightful and informative discussion with one of the top family law attorneys in the Chicago, Illinois area today. Again, as a reminder, her name is Jennifer Guimond-Quigley. Make sure you do check her out. Give her a call, visit her website. Whatever you do, I'm sure that after listening to Jennifer today, you're going to be in a great place to get started. So that's it for today, folks. Again, my name is Stuart Andrew Alexander, and we'll be back shortly with some more leading family law professionals in this, our series of Let's Talk Divorce Conversations. So, until then, take care, have a great day, and we'll talk real soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Impact Makers Radio. To listen to all past, present and future industry thought leaders and trendsetters, visit us at impactmakersradio.com.